Hello student, good morning. How are you today? Meet again with Miss Asmi in our English class. Our lesson for today is about how do we use will and shall. Will and shall are two of the most challenging words in English, even for native speaker. But in this lesson, I will show you how to use these two words correctly and avoid making common mistake with them. So let's begin. How do we use will and shall correctly? Well, here is the short answer. Shall is an uncommon word. That means most people don't use shall. It is mainly found in some types of questions that we will discuss later in our lesson. So for now, if you are not sure about the rules, just use will. It is perfectly okay to use will in all statements. No problem with that. Now let's start with statement. How do we use will and shall in a statement? We use will and shall in expressing future time or an activity in the future time. We use will and shall to express three things: our plan, expectation, and prediction. The rules say if the subject pronouns are I and we, then we have to use shall. If the subject pronouns are she, he, it, they, and you, we have to use will. Here are some examples of statements that use shall and will. I shall wait for you at the train station. We shall not go to the museum if we don't have time. You will find the old book in that locker. The weekly test will not take place at August 17. All students will get their weekly test score next week. For this sentence, we use will because the subject pronouns all students is the same with subject pronouns they. And then the last, Claire will visit her mom at the next summer holiday. We use will for this sentence because the subject pronouns Claire the same with she. Okay, let's now move on and talk about using will and shall in a question. There are three types of questions that are important for us in this lesson. Now, take a look at the three questions. Can you find the difference between these three questions? Well, the first question: can you get me a glass of water? This is a kind of a request question, which means I want you to do something for me. And then for the second question, can I get you a drink? This is a kind of an offer question, which means I'm offering do something for you. And then for the third question, why don't we have pizza tonight? It's a kind of a suggestion question. These are all perfectly normal sentences, but you can also make them using will and shall. But they have rules for that. Let's see the rules. For request questions, we have to use will. So for number 1, we use will. You have to say, will you get me a glass of water? You cannot say, shall you get me a glass of water? Because that is wrong. And the second rules, for offer and suggestion questions, we have to use shall. So for number 2 and number 3, we use shall. So we have to say, shall I get you a drink? We cannot say, will I get you a drink? We have to say, shall we have pizza tonight? We cannot say, will we have pizza tonight? Okay, students, remember, I told you in the beginning of our lesson that if you are confused between will and shall, you can just use will for the statements. But for questions, in this case, offer and suggestion questions, we only can use shall. Now, let's take a look for more example below. I shall bring my friends along when I come next time. You will receive an email confirmation about your assignment within 24 hours. My mom will be staying with my grandparents for a couple of weeks. Will you please be quiet for a moment? For this sentence, we use will because this is a kind of request question. Next, and the last, shall I open the window and door? For this sentence, we use shall because this is a kind of an offer question. Okay, students, that was our material for today. Miss Asmi wish that all of you can fully understand the explanation that Miss Asmi gave to you. Thank you and see you to the next lesson with Miss Asmi. Bye bye.